This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Pierre Novelli. You can text, that's their names. You can text the show on 81215. Follow us on X and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. You can email us via frank@absoluteradio.co.uk. All those things are possible. Sue Barker, if you're listening, go easy on the champagne this early in the morning. I'm assuming she's celebrating the demise of A Question of Sport. They were nothing without me. All right, Sue, that's your fourth glass. They don't tell me what to do. The home life of Sue Barker. There. So the service here is terrible. That's what she used to say at Wimbledon, apparently.
Oh, my God.
You know, she was rated 2 in the world at one point, Sue Barker. She told me she had a beach house in Malibu when she was 17 or something like that.
What? Can I?
Yeah.
Oh, I quite like Malibu.
Malibu.
I think it was Malibu. It was somewhere where a beach house should be.
Los Angeles.
Well, did she watch Star Wars?
Oh, is Malibu wrong?
Well, you initially said Malibu
Yeah.
as opposed to Malibu.
Okay, it should be on the Mal, should it?
If you're,
Yeah.
But what about the old
Malibu.
Black Lace song? Malibu, boo, boo.
I think that's just an artistic license.
Okay, fair enough. I'd love an artistic licence. Are they still 7 and 6? Jenny Foot, our assistant producer, has got an artistic licence because
Yeah.
we just handed out the Christmas cards and we were all disgraced. Well, I felt okay because mine are all religious themed,
Well,
which
you get
raises me above everyone. But she hand-painted our cards this morning.
Yeah.
I think we should. I think it would be nice to put at least mine, if not everyone's, on social media.
Yeah.
My Robin. It's the bird on the card. It's not some terrible slang term I use.
No.
My Robin is holding something very exciting. A sentence which, if used as a trailer, which
get
will
us into
become
all
a
sorts
break.
of issues.
Let's say it'll break the internet. No. Who wants to do that? Some people rely on that for company. Anyway, I tell you what, I've had some fun this week in sort of television guest appearance mode.
Yes, you've been putting it about.
I have, yeah. I'm trying to help Pierre out. He's supporting me at the Geel Good.
It's true.
And, I want people to turn up because I think that their ego is so fragile at this stage of their careers. So, yes, we are doing the Gielgud Theatre in London in the first 2 weeks of February. Anyway, I've been plugging that. Now, one of my favourite shows to do in the whole of television is Sunday Brunch.
You love Sunday brunch?
I do. It's like a lovely gathering. You eat food, you meet nice, interesting people, and it's just a pleasant experience. This week, I got told off by Tim Lovejoy.
What did you do?
I like
For basically
Lovejoy.
deconstructing the show.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
What
Did he feel that you were pulling the curtain back on the sort of magical inner
He
workings
said,
of Sunday
well, he
Brunch?
actually put it, he said, stop being so negative, Frank. Which,
Oh,
I thought it was, he started off, he introduced,
Sorry, I'm rocking currently.
He introduced Archie. I'm frightened to say his name now because you'll see why in a minute. Archie, the actor,
Yes,
from
I know.
Saltburn,
oh, right, yeah.
and he said, "And Archie," and then he said to him, "How do you pronounce your surname?" I said, "No, this is something I would have checked before." But obviously, as in a light-hearted way.
Frank, this is something I would have checked before.
But then,
In a light-hearted
maybe I didn't
way.
say that. Maybe I said, "Did you consider checking this before?"
Well, that's infinitely preferable.
Exactly. And then I brought up Find the Banana, which was which was a thing that they tried once when I was on. They had a banana on set, and somebody had to, if you saw it, you had to say, I've seen the banana and say where it is, and I think you want a key ring or something.
Right.
So he said, we got an exciting thing. I said, you're not bringing back Find the Banana. There was a sense of, look, just leave us alone, Frank, you bully.
I can't imagine why.
And the frustrating thing is when you've done it a show 10 times, you get a golden Sunday brunch mug. I've got a silver one for 5 times, but I've only done it 7 times. I don't think I'm going to be asked back now.
What did Tim Lovejoy say then? He just said, please stop being so negative.
Yeah.
Did he say, I beseech you?
On air, though, he said it.
Oh,
I mean, I basically got told off. So I'll never get me golden. I don't know. I mean, I'm 66. Have I got another 3 pluggable projects in me? Oh, God.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
I'm still a little concerned about the potential fallout.
Well, I thought it was all good fun because there was a bit where it sort of went a bit, they weren't talking. And I said, hold it, is this a commercial break? Are you guys still presenting this? But I thought it was all friendly leg pulling.
So you were heckling throughout Sunday. Sunday
I wasn't
brunch finally
really
had to
heckling, I was
heckle.
commentating. But what happened?
Are you bringing back Find the Banana?
Then I ended up. We're just talking amongst ourselves. We were just giggling like Tim and Simon were the teachers and the TA. I was just giggling amongst the guests. I mean, it was.
So you deprived Tim of the chance to feel like he was one of the fun students.
Well, I stormed it, but no one heard it. I was only the other guests. But it was,
Fine.
and then there was a.
Why don't you send a letter of apology?
Anyway, so there was. I was in a cricket club once where they said you can only play again if you send a letter of apology.
What did you say?
Bye.
Have you ever sent letters? You do. You do admit when you're wrong, I find.
Yeah, when I'm wrong.
But you're right. You felt that it was a fair enough guess about
What
Find the
happened
Banana.
is I was going to play for this cricket team, and I went to watch them, and I got very drunk, and the way I sat on the grass, I leaned on my arm, and my arm went dead. Completely. I mean, it was really like full on, not just pins and needles. Because I was drunk, I didn't realise as it got number and ceased to work. And then I started banging it on things to try and bring it back to life. And somebody told me to stop banging on something, and I told them to mind their own business. And in the end, I was asked to write anyway, that was a long time ago. So,
Frank, Ruth Jordan,
oh, yeah.
one of our regulars, she caught your appearance.
Oh, yeah.
Frank's best Sunday brunch moment was definitely when he said, "Are we still on air? I thought this was the commercial break."
Yeah, it did.
She says, but hey, if you don't want to be given notes, don't invite Frank on.
Well, like I say, I think that's the end of my my brunch work. Then a man did a meal, which I'm not going to say.
A man did a meal?
I'm not going to say who. Actually, was it a man? I'm not going to say. But there
Okay.
was a meal was made.
Someone did a meal.
And it just come up a bit dry.
Oh, Frank, please tell me you didn't say that.
No, I didn't say that.
Okay.
But it's one of these, what is it? Is it nice? And everybody went, no, we had no saliva left in our mouths.
What was it?
Well, I can't say what it was or I'll give the game away.
Oh, I see.
I
Yes.
have to be...
Well, I think you might have given the game away already.
No.
Is that why you were looking around the studio for a banana?
You know that game? Yeah.
Is this a commercial break?
You know that? No. But I love that show. I love those guys.
Can I just say, in a public announcement, he means no harm.
No, I just thought, because I've done it a few times. It's like,
E.T. Paddington Bear sort of thing. It means no harm.
To me, he is.
when he wrecks the
trying to-
bathroom.
It's a bit like Paddington wrecking the bathroom. He means no harm. He has great love to give.
You get people together. I've done it a few times. Bit of friendly leg pulling. Yeah. Oh. Anyway, good news.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Beck, loser.
All right.
Not really.
We are sitting here.
Not really. Yeah, so, yeah. I'll tell you what I did get, though, out of Sunday Brunch. I got a free Radiator key branded with the Sunday Lunch logo.
A radiator key?
You know the thing when you bleed a radiator?
But I'm just...
They actually come in darn useful.
Yeah?
Yes, I said darn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm the proud owner of one.
Oh, of
but
course.
I had no idea that you could get a branded
This is a beautiful
brunch
brand.
radiator key.
Yeah, Sunday
Have some
Brunch.
eggs and avocado, bleed the radiators. It's brunch.
But then again, let's see, I tried to explain why I like bleeding the radiator, and by now they weren't listening to me now. They hated me.
Well, what, after you'd said, I thought it was the commercial brand.
Well, I said every time I bleed a radiator and you inhale that, I can smell the Industrial Revolution. I
Yes.
can smell every factory I've worked in. I can smell getting up in the morning and, taking a packed lunch on the bus in the dark to the factory job. It's all there. It all comes back to me. They weren't interested.
After you'd said,
I think
why didn't you look that up? Where's the banana?
I was going to say, I think you might have just lost the dressing room somewhat at that point.
And then I did Lorraine.
I love me a bit of Lorraine.
Later in the week. And I'll tell you what I really liked on Lorraine. Tanya Bardsley was on. Do you know the real Cheshire housewife?
I love Tanya Bardsley.
She was
Do you
great.
watch Real Housewives of Cheshire, Frank?
I haven't watched it. I only knew she was because I know who her husband is because she's
Is
a
it Phil?
footballer. Yeah. But she was. We had a good laugh as well, and she's like incredibly. Because she had a bright orange dress on, and I said, I love that glow in that dress. And I said, it's like having a lovely 3-bar electric fire in the corner of the room. Started warming my hands from a distance, as you would with a fire. You don't touch an electric fire, nor do you touch Tanya Bardsley.
No.
Anyway, she was very nice.
Unless you Phil Bardsley.
And she said, I need someone to sort of, brighten me up. I said, you look great. She said, yeah, but it's all filler and Botox. I thought, I love you. I love you. Right up there. And then, as I was leaving, I love a public ginger. Since I've had a ginger child, I love to see gingers doing well. I bumped into Sarah Ferguson. And I said we are big supporters of the public gingers in our family.
Oh, Frank, did you?
Did you have any idea what you meant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just need to unclench my...
No, she was great with it.
Oh, good.
She said, oh, yeah, me too. She said, I'm a big chap. She said, Elizabeth I. I thought, whoa, you've played your big card.
That's so late review.
Then I showed her a picture of my son, and she's going, oh, he's a proper... She was one of the people who says Ginga. People do that.
Well, she
said, he's a proper Ginga. She said, we should get together and do something about the way gingers are treated in this country. I said, I'm with you.
Strange coffee friend.
I'm with you. She was I really liked her.
I like her.
I gotta
Are
say.
you a fan, Pierre?
I've never met her.
And she had that fact, she wears sometimes that pseudo-military Coronation Street top. She had that on. Oh, so glad she had that on. If you're
What did she go for a bit Quality Street?
Yeah.
Yes.
But she wore it well. So, yeah, it was... And then I'll tell you in a minute because the producer... But it's just really been a hobnobbing...
Oh, I'm loving it, Pierre, aren't you?
Kind of a week.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, can I ask a question about Sunday Brunch?
You can ask a question, yes.
Do you, which is, you better prepare for this because this will be happening at the press conference later. Do you find it difficult to eat whilst the interview's going on? How does one navigate
No,
that?
I'm fine with that. One thing, I always have a cocktail stick in my pocket when I do a Sunday brunch. It's to get the bits out my teeth.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, and there's people, you can see all the guests and they've got stuff in their teeth, and I always think, well, I'm not saying anything.
No.
No,
I did
I'll be
this time.
demure on the topic of that,
Yeah.
if not the banana.
No, but this time I did tell. I think it's nice to tell people.
Yes.
It's on television. You don't want them to, look poor. I also met Kai and Nadia from Strictly.
Did you indeed?
And it's difficult meeting professional dancers. They're so too perfect.
And Kai, to remind me, was he dancing with Angela Rippon?
He was. Kai is the one. When I was a kid, a scrawny kid who got shoved about at school, I used to read those adverts that show kids like me having sand kicked in their face by people that look like Kai. He's got one of those He-Man jaws, you know what I mean? But he was very nice, but they are so and they're a real couple as well. I mean, doesn't bear thinking about. Be like an Athena poster.
Oh, thanks. Inappropriate.
But yeah, I think professional dancers, they're like fireworks. They're best seen from a distance. You know, they're just too much close up. They did a little bit of dancing just over They have a thing on Lorraine where they cut to you. You're in the kitchen and you smile and they say, "Coming up soon, Frank Skinner." You do a bit of a smile. They did a little dance. It was brilliant.
Did you say, is this the commercial break or what?
No, I was very impressed by that, I must say.
But it's too much.
Yes. Oh, yes.
So do they dance in front of you, Frank?
They dance just over my shoulder, but seeing them close up dancing like that. Two perfect people. I mean, what's happening?
It's like looking directly at the sun.
It is. It is like that. It's like when I went and saw the eclipse and everyone had got these really fancy filter things and I took a bin liner to look through.
That's the most you thing I've ever heard.
It worked. I don't see what people say. I think I've heard that's dangerous. I said, well, I'm looking through a bin liner. How can that? What damage can that do?
It worked.
It did work.
Never mind that you humiliated yourself.
I didn't humiliate myself. I was shown to be like a sort of Womble figure. I was allowed to take on a major natural event and I managed to use something synthetic to help me through it. Well, no, it's not the first time that combo's worked for me.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Oh, you remember the other week I was talking about Kermit's collar?
Yes, sometimes Kermit the Frog wears a sort of
medieval jester collar.
Yeah, little arrows all around.
Yeah, like little pointy things.
Sometimes he decides to clothe himself.
It looks like he's got bunting around his neck, is what it looks like. But I realised that this week I went to see Elf the musical, and I realised it's stock Elf uniform as well. It's that thing around their neck.
That's true, isn't it?
In fact, there was people in the audience who wore like elf clothing. I didn't realise that. It's a bit Rocky Horror. There were lots of people
dressed as elves.
Yeah, I say lots. I mean, I saw several grown men in elf outfits.
Oh, I like the sound of them.
Yeah, and
were they nylon outfits?
I didn't get close enough for obvious reasons, but I like the idea that people are dressing up for Elf the musical. And I'll tell you what else people are doing. There's a bloke in the row in front of us who bought a T-shirt from the merch shop, the Elf the musical merch, and was wearing it like over a shirt and tie. You know that look?
You know what I call it? Tory MP at a jumble sale.
There you go. Tory MP at a Children in Need event.
Let me just slip this on. There we go.
Oh, dear. But it was, I think I was probably the only person in the room who had never seen the film.
Oh.
So I was completely fresh to the old Elf
You've not
concept.
seen it?
No, I've never seen the film.
You've started with the musical.
I've started with the musical, yeah.
Yeah, he's like one of those I've never seen Star Wars people.
Yeah, I'm only going to go and see the slam poetry version of Star Wars, and then I'll watch the films.
So,
yeah.
how fascinating. What did you make
Well,
of?
I've never been sure about Ferrell.
Have you not?
And it's actually my son, when it's his favourite actor, he always says Will Ferrell is his favourite actor.
Well, me too. I'm a big fan of all
I have
things Ferrell.
a problem with actors who have an indistinctive face. I don't think his face is. If there was a Will Ferrell, if Will Ferrell did something bad and I was called in for a lineup, I'm not sure I'd recognise him.
Well, I think you might after this show.
Yeah.
Do you not think? I think he's got sort of very distinctive eyes.
Yes.
I don't. To me, he just looks like
Generic
a
man.
sort of a artist's impression. He could be the man walking in front of a new shopping centre on an artist's impression of what it's going to look like.
Basically.
I've dreamed of that job. I'd love to be like bloke walks dog in front of the new art centre in the artist's impression.
Oh, yeah.
Man-
and the trees look so round, don't they?
Oh, lovely.
You know?
Man waving from front of hypothetical house.
Yeah. No, it's. I'd love
You see,
to be
Ray
one
wouldn't
of
get
those.
any work in those because he's not to scale. They're always the same size, the dogs in
Ray, your
those.
dog, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Probably might get the odd
So
gig.
no, I've never seen the film. So it was, it was. I mean, I loved it. I loved the. It's the most Christmassy thing I've ever seen in my life.
Really?
I don't want to tell you what happens, but there's no Christmas stone left unturned.
Well, you don't need to worry about telling us what happens because we all
we've
have
seen
seen
the
it.
film.
Of course, you've all
now.
seen it, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
But you don't know what happens in the movie. I went back and met the cast and that after, and it
Did
was.
you tell them that you'd never seen the film?
I didn't tell them that.
No.
They wouldn't be bothered. They'd be glad.
Well, I was going to say.
Do you think there were people at the musical saying, "Well, of course, I've read the book"?
Yeah. Is there a book?
I don't think so.
I think so.
I don't think
there?
so.
I did have a thought, though. This was something for you to think about. I think it's brilliant when you go and see a musical because they all wear mics, so you can hear everyone talking. Why don't they do that in your serious dramas?
What do you mean? What on
Yeah.
stage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there could be a better range of talking.
No, but there's this hoity-toity, well, I didn't do 3 years of voice work. But what about the people out there? It's like, the old doing the knowledge for 3, 4, 5 years, learning every street in London when you can just get a sat-nav. Get a mic.
Yeah.
But then you lose that amazing thing you get in plays sometimes where the actors have to do something conspiratorial and they're still basically bellowing.
I know,
But they're trying to bellow in a
but
way
it
that
would
suggests
all work on a mic. Then the less, the things they did at drama school, they could do all their stuff at drama school, like,
more tree stuff.
Yeah, humility.
Wow.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
I've had some presents today.
Go on.
From Emily Dean, I have had a mug with a series of Jerry Anderson villains on. Titan from Stingray, The Hood from Thunderbirds, and Captain Black from Captain Scarlet, and of course our favourite X20. Looking like if Roy Hodgson had spent too long on the sunbed. He looks like that. She also got me a book called Future Music from Germany, which is the story of one of my all-time favourite bands, Kraftwerk.
I got some advice.
See you in
the book.
Paris, Ralph. What's that quote from? I was talking to Ralph Hutter, the one of the brains behind Kraftwerk, backstage after a gig in Milan, and Grace Jones went past and said, "See you in Paris, Ralph." I thought, this is the
wow.
life. This is the life.
That was like Dennis Rodman leaving the Big Brother house, Frank, who said...
Who said Stringfellows? Yeah, as a where to meet the men on the show. How disgusting. So I got that, and also tucked into that mug was a little packet of
You know what? You know who.
Takis. I've also occasionally, I hear from John Walsh, who writes books. He writes what you might call the book of the film. That's his thing. But when book of the films used to be like novelizations of things,
Yes.
he does big coffee table, mass colour picture. But in the past, you may recall, I've had, for example, Flash, the book of the film, Conan the Barbarian, and now The Wicker Man. Yes, so massive picture, story of the film, the whole thing. Brilliant. Thank you, John. If you're listening, I shall devour it. I've recently recorded the film itself and a documentary about that film. So I can just have a complete Wicker Man weekend and then, I don't know, torture a few locals maybe.
Well, you could build your own for Christmas.
Yeah, you could. That'd be nice.
I got you a mini takis.
Chris Rea, building a Wicker Man for Christmas.
Oh, have some water or something before you go on. No, not you, Chris Rea.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to stop, you know. If the snow gets any worse, he might not make it. He'll stop at the services.
8-Bit North Stitch has got in touch. I've checked this.
8-Bit North Stitch. Go on.
Frank's Takis chat is conjuring weird happenings for listeners. Yesterday, I heard a woman shouting down her phone, "He's had 2 packets already before his tea. Don't give him more Takis."
Oh, wow, who's eating that? Some sort of fire eater?
That was Kath who was saying that.
Okay, fair enough.
I came in work today to find these on my desk, and 8-Bit North Stitch has enclosed a picture of exactly the same takis I got you. I think they're the miniature packet.
They're sort of pocket size.
Pocket takis.
Emergency takis.
Travel takis.
Yeah.
What would you call them? We need to help takis because they haven't.
I think travel takis is kind of like the alliteration.
No, it sounds a bit like a sort of strange hotel.
Taquette.
No.
I think what I might do for emergencies is thread some takis onto a chain and wear them around my neck.
Yes. Like those candy necklaces.
Yeah, but you'd get a lot of the red, the fiery dust would
on your collarbone.
I used to do this thing so as not to sneeze on others. You know, some people put their hands in front of their mouth, but it's inefficient.
Yes.
So I often pull my t-shirt up when I sneeze.
Yes.
And then I lay in bed, I noticed there was quite a bit of muesli matted into my chest hair.
Oh my God, Frank!
Oh, it's breakfast radio. It's all opposite.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank,
Yeah.
there's a petition that's being circulated about you.
About me?
You're the subject of it.
Okay.
I'll share this with you.
Is it
Don't
signed by Tim Lovejoy and Simon Rimmer?
It's to bring back Find the Banana.
Yeah.
Stop being negative on our show.
We call upon.
We the undersigned.
Oh, what is it? I'm intrigued.
It's all right.
And I'm not often
There's nothing
intrigued.
untoward. Andy Wood, one of our regulars, as you know, from any particular area in the country, Frank?
Is he from Bronte country?
He is.
I remember.
I don't know if Andy started this, but he shared something with us. Sign the petition to get ITV to finally air Shane Series 2.
Oh, God, I don't know if he's doing me a favour.
Come on, readers. Something has to be done.
There's people in it that are no longer with us. You don't have to have those things at the end, of the dates and a picture of them.
In memoriam.
It's a bit like Dad's Army.
No, there's more than that.
Why this petition matters. I've clicked on it. It's been registered with change.org. You currently have 15 signatures.
15, that should be enough, shouldn't it? ITV nowadays.
Andy Wood says, by signing this petition, you are supporting not just a single fan's request, but also promoting access to quality content
Well, that's a big assumption.
that reflects our cultural heritage in television arts. Shane. May I just remind you, we're talking about Shane here.
Season 2.
And there's some lovely comments already. Scott Coulter, who's just signed, Shane Series 1 was superb. Need to see Series 2.
Wow.
Simon McCarthy, I love Frank. We need this in the world. Shane 2, who
Shane
knew?
2.
What do we call it, that? Shane 2, who knew?
For
Come on.
Christmas.
Yeah.
He's back.
All I want for Christmas is Shane 2.
If a TV programme got 15 people complaining about something, it'd be like a major event
That's true.
At the broadcaster.
Yeah. I think your manager will be sitting there with that little calculator of his. He'll be thrilled about this news.
I think he's in New Zealand.
Oh, okay.
Just saying. Yeah, about this for a Christmas present. I thought this was a very fabulous piece of logic.
Yeah.
A guy who actually met at Sarah Sprackland's wedding, Sarah Sprackland being our producer, called Dan. I had dinner with him the other night, and he said, I've got you a present. He said, I heard on the radio show, I don't know if you remember this, but I got a 3-metre iPhone cable, which I plugged in at the side of my bed, and it means you can look at the phone while it's still charging, and it's plenty. You got plenty of. He said, and you said it had genuinely improved the quality of your life, and I said, I honestly did. He said, so I've got you a 5-metre cable. Now, where does that end? I'm having dinner with him in 10 years' time.
You're going to have dinner with him in 10 years' time and still be charging your phone at home.
Yeah, exactly.
And have it on you.
That'd be brilliant. What I liked about that, it was a good joke, but you lost faith that the audience would get it, so you started adding extra explanatory details. We've all done it.
Yeah.
This is when Bruce Forsyth used to say, so I was in the kitchen the other day, So I was in the kitchen. You think, yes, your respect for the audience couldn't be any less. Oh, my goodness. We still miss him, of course.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
I went to Paris for Christmas once, and there wasn't much Christmas stuff about.
No, they don't like Christmas.
I can imagine this is very American, the red man climbing down the chimney.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah, exactly.
C'est vulgaire.
like those who's the really heavy metal German band that wear the crazy masks?
Oh, Buzzle, no. Loudy, no.
No, that's Lordy. Those are the Finnish.
Where the
Rammstein.
Rammstein. We all live in America.
Yeah. Coca-Cola, Wonderbra. Those are the two most revoltingly American things, according to Rammstein.
Jonathan Ross's favourite band.
Really?
Yes, one of them. Oh, him and Buzz are going to have to get jamming together.
Yeah, they're good. I have a feeling there was some form of cancellation recently.
Oh, dear.
Oh, very possible.
But,
It happens to us all, dear.
It's always a good guess to have.
Especially after we've done Sunday Brunch.
Oh, well, will I be back? Let's keep an eye on that one.
Oh, I hope you are, because you do love that show. It's been good to you as well.
Has it? Put a few inches on the waistline. What else?
We've heard from the outside world, haven't we, Pierre?
We've heard from Nicola, who says, Dear team. Quite corporate.
Yeah, I'm all right with that.
I was very surprised to hear a follower of the Nazarene attribute a Bible verse to Dr. Johnson last week. As a dog returns to his vomit, so a fool repeats his folly is actually from Proverbs 26:11.
Oh, fair enough, yes. So only quoted by Dr. Johnson.
Wow.
Well, that's good. That's a good text.
Yeah, well...
Do you think Bush and Richie are getting texts like that?
I think
doubt it.
Bush and Richie are word perfect on their Proverbs.
No, they probably are. They wouldn't have made that mistake in the first place.
Nicola says...
But thank you, Nicola.
She says, it's good to be an Anglican and help out. Although when Frank picked on me because I was in the front row of his show in Edinburgh this summer, he was somewhat affronted when I said I was an Anglican, and he proceeded to call me Jessica thereafter. But not
deliberately.
No.
No.
I was at the Archbishop of Canterbury's carol service this week, so, you know.
How was it?
Judge ye not, for as ye judge, so shall ye be judged.
I bet he really pulls out
You know,
all
I
the
said
stops.
that to a hairdresser once.
What did you... Why did
She said she just needs a bit of a zhuzh, and I said, zhuzh ye not, for as ye zhuzh. And she didn't even say, what does that mean or anything. She just carried on as if I hadn't said anything, as if she hadn't heard anything.
Because from her point of view, you're just having some sort of moment of terrible gibberish.
You're in a hairdresser's. You're innocently zhuzhing someone's hair, giving them a zhuzh, and then they turn round and say to you...
But you know when you say something like that, and when they totally ignore you like that, it's like they think, oh, we got a right one here.
We've got
it's
a
like
crazy...
Thinking, I need to get this guy out the chair as soon as possible.
He's throwing scripture at me.
But if you know...
Well, I don't think she'd have identified it as
if
scripture.
you know too much, ye will be judged.
Yeah.
Well, yes. I don't know what that means.
Well, what I'm saying is I think ye were judged for your level of knowledge. It's like, oh, he's talking about his weird book.
I just think people think, me and Pierre was on about it, you get this in audiences. You look at someone and they're thinking, oh, this is just stupid.
Well, they look at you and they say, I don't know what that is. And that makes you an idiot.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, and that makes it worthless. That's what they're saying.
Well,
which I'm always interested in.
When I was perusing books for you this week, and I like to do your book in person.
Nice.
I don't go Amazonian for that.
Okay.
I like to clap my eyes on it. And I asked the man, and I just thought this was quite odd for a bookshop. Maybe it's just me. But when I said, he said, oh, are you looking for anything in particular? And I said, I am, as a matter of fact. It's a book for a friend. So when we were talking about sort of stuff I'd got you in the past, I thought that'd be helpful. I mentioned a book I'd got you last year. I said, well, there was a book on the wasteland.
Oh, yes.
I got him last year.
Brilliant.
And he said, what? I said, The Wasteland. He went, oh, I don't know that one.
Okay.
That one. And then I mentioned T.S. Eliot. Didn't...
Well, he might be from a different department. Was he from humour? If you'd have mentioned 22 things to do with a dead cat, he'd have been all over you like a rash.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
We're still on air.
We are.
Is that to reassure any nuclear submariners tuning in to check?
Okay, if there's any kind of a silence,
you
on
really
the
don't
show,
like it.
I panic.
Yeah, I know he doesn't like it. Well, we'll fill that silence.
Yeah.
Fill it with gold.
We have heard from Peru
Okay.
after last week's discussion. So,
you
Loretta.
remember?
Oh yes, I was saying in case you didn't listen
You
last
remember
week.
Paddo, as they call you now on Sunday brunch? You were the Paddington Bear.
I was in the back of a mini cab, and the man mentioned that he was from Peru, and he said he'd come here and he'd had hard times here when he first arrived, but now he's happy in the country. I said, you've had a similar journey to Paddington Bear, and he took exception to it and said there are no bears in Peru. No, they're all over here, mate. That's what I should have said.
Not anymore.
Anyway, Q Novelli.
We've heard from Loretta. Dear Frank, good morning. I'm an avid listener of your radio program on Saturdays, even when on my way to visit family on those days. So even on tram, even en route. However, I'm from Peru. And when listening to your program today, in the Sunday recap from yesterday, as I missed it, I heard the comment about this taxi driver about no bears in Peru, 3 question marks.
Oh, look, I'm on it. Don't shoot the messenger.
Well, she's the 3 question marks, I think, are fired in succession towards the taxi driver.
Yeah, okay.
Not yours, Frank. Don't worry.
Yeah. There's comments from the taxi driver about no bears in Peru. Unfortunately, this isn't true.
Oh.
Paddington Bear is based on bears that live in the Sierra part of the country, in the Andes. Peru is in 3 parts. The coast is Costa, the middle part is Sierra, and the third part is Selva. And Machu Picchu is in the Sierra.
Okay.
Paddington Bear is based on a bear called the Spectacled Bear.
See,
Well, the bear wears glasses.
when we discussed this, I said to Pierre, if you recall, what about the spectacle bear? Because I once gave money to a fundraising.
Oh, you didn't do dancing bears.
For the spectacle bear. No, I tried to help the spectacle bear just to get a change of prescription. Thing was swinging into branches.
Better or worse? Better or worse?
You know where they should have gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Loretta continues, I just wanted to clarify, as my children were big fans of Paddington when they were little, and the fact that I'm originally from Peru, well, I couldn't leave it like that.
What was?
Hey, listen, does Paddington wear glasses?
No.
Oh, I
Not
thought
yet,
he had
not
little
yet.
granny glasses.
He does actually. No, you're right. Sometimes he does seem to put on some reading glasses.
Oh, maybe. From where?
What's he going to read? He's a bear.
He's got
Can't
reading
read.
glasses, but no trousers. Priorities, Paddington.
Who is, is he great aunt something? He's got a relative, hasn't he, back home?
Yeah, and in the movies, much is made of this aunt.
Yeah, whereas in the books, she's a bit indoors. Yeah, probably not indoors.
Are they
her outdoors.
I was going to say.
Her in the Sierra.
Her in the tree. Have they somewhat romanticised the relationship?
Her in the Sierra sounds a bit of a dodgy anecdote from the 80s.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Well, I'd like to share some correspondence we've had from our listeners.
Good.
For example, Juliet Dack I believe this is pronounced Keithley.
Oh, yes.
Hi, Frank. Just listening to the podcast of last week's show, when you mentioned, this might have been from the week before, actually, when you mentioned Gene Pitney's appearance on Sunday night at the London Palladium.
Oh, yes. The American singer closed the big variety show Sunday night at the London Palladium. And as the applause came, he said, "Now that's what I call singing."
About himself.
Yeah.
OK, well, Juliet clocked that and enjoyed it. She says, "My lasting impression of Gene was an appearance on This Morning, back in the days when it came from the Liverpool docks."
Oh,
I
yes.
believe. Remember those?
Yes, the floating weather.
Yes.
Whatever it was, map of the United Kingdom.
And Gene was there as a guest.
Which people used to use for love making out of hours. Became a thing to go on the floating map.
OK.
Yeah. Nothing to do with me. You're looking at me, I'm just saying other people.
There's a slightly odd energy in here.
Yeah.
Anyway, Juliet Dack from Keithley continues. "Unfortunately, Gene was unaware that the track had begun. And there he was, stood looking awkward and unsure whether to start singing or not.
Oh, no.
After a few seconds, he went for it. Now that's what I call miming." Thank you, Juliet. I enjoyed that. Also,
it's very fine.
Frank, a couple of shows back, you're not going to believe this. Well, we'll see if you will. "Hello, Frank, Emily and Pierre. This is from Robin Kelly. Read roads named after people. Attached. And we have a map, don't we, Pierre?
We do.
And what is this road called?"
Francis Skinner Place.
It's actually called Frank Skinner Place, or is it Francis? It's Francis. It's north of Auckland. It backs onto a Catholic church.
Oh.
Yeah.
Warm wishes from Auckland.
Francis Skinner Place. What if I just bought a house there just for the hell of it? Never went.
Save time on letter writing from others.
Yeah.
It could be worth it.
We've also heard from a number of people who enjoyed your appearance on Sunday Brunch. In fact, I'm getting a hashtag Sunday Brunch.
Oh, right.
OK? It's all good, Frank.
Yeah.
For example, Ali E has got in touch. I think he's called it Sunday Brunch Bechamel. A lot of stuff about bechamel sauce.
Was there? What is
Yes.
bechamel sauce?
It's a sort of
I was
white...
probably talking to the guests during this bit.
It was still mic'd up.
I was
without
giggling at the back.
It's a white sauce. That sort of... It's not quite a hollandaise. It's not as eggy or as creamy as a holland.
Okay, I get the picture.
So anyway, Ali E says, "I woke up and immediately turned on my TV to see 8 celebrities looking puzzled and slightly nauseous. Frank on the radio was talking about eating coal." Did you discuss eating coal?
No, there
on
was
Sunday Cup?
They gave us a marshmallow that was supposed to look like coal as part of a Christmas lunch. But coal is a New Year's Eve thing.
No, coal is the punishment in your stocking.
Is it?
From Father Christmas.
Where did you grow up?
If you're naughty, you get coal in your stocking.
Do you?
Did you?
I've never heard of that before.
That was a treat. That was your treat, Frank.
Finally, a Christmas tradition that I've heard of and other people haven't.
No, that's good. And also a menacing element to Christmas lunch, which is, haven't had that since my dad used to get drunk at Christmas. Well, that's, and the last laugh is on me, it seems.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
We've been somewhat preoccupied with bechamel sauce. I say preoccupied. We've had a couple of people get in touch with us. I think it came up whilst you were on Sunday Brunch.
Did he? I was, like I say, I was probably talking to my...
You were mercilessly ribbing.
I was the naughty kid at the back of the class.
Yes. Ian Wilson, one of our regulars.
Wilson.
Just wanted to give you some info regarding bechamel sauce because you were off.
No, you're all right.
It's coming anyway.
Okay.
Bechamel sauce is equal parts in weight, butter and flour, and then watered down with milk until it's runny. Add cheese, and it's called Mornay sauce. You know a Mornay? Cod in Mornay, surely you must have had at some stage.
No.
Okay.
It sounds
back
like
to Pierre in the
pancake.
studio.
That's a morning.
Yeah. I like a big pizza. Oh, can you do the voice? I don't think they're oppressed.
I've been backed up by 717. Hi, Frank and the gang. Pierre is right. If you are naughty, Santa brings a piece of coal instead of a present from Dave and Wigan.
Well, I wouldn't know.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
So listen, I'll tell you what happened to me.
Go on.
I was at Elf, the musical.
Oh, yeah.
And
Who is it? You and Buzz?
Me and Buzz. It's a very fine show. And Bob, before the show, they played Christmas music.
Yes,
Okay.
as is tradition.
Yeah. But just like not from the show, just Christmas music. And they played Last Christmas by Wham. Now, I didn't hear anyone make that sound. I didn't hear anyone go, oh, no. It just was played and that was it. Now, there is a theory that there is a game called Whamaggedon.
Yeah.
Where you have to avoid hearing that song between the 1st and the 24th of December.
Yes.
Correct.
And the way it's spoken, I think Absolute Radio have embraced it.
Have they?
Yeah. And, but they embraced the Victorian Asylum publicity campaign, if you remember, with me and Ian Wright looking from windows in straitjackets. So we've all made mistakes.
We didn't know.
We didn't know.
We didn't know back then.
I didn't know that.
No, well, not many people
No,
do.
and nor will you ever know.
No.
No.
But, you know,
After
like I
today.
say, even Homer nods.
It's gone the way of Find the Banana.
The
But
images have been
anyway,
destroyed.
I'm not sure it has. Is it widespread? I understood there was consternation this week when it was played at the football
It was
game.
at the Emirates, wasn't it?
It's quite an online thing. I only know a couple of people who have known to play it in real life. It's certainly a big thing online.
Right.
Yeah. But it is a thing. I mean, it's
I think it's more of
it's
a...
out there.
Yes. I think it's more the people who like Facebook.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean by that?
I didn't know Facebook was still happening.
Well, there
what
you
you
go.
mean. Well, there you are.
you go.
Is it still around? Oh, but don't judge me on it.
It's a very Facebook era
Should
thing.
she not?
You know, I always get the names, so I always say, oh, yeah, sorry, it's on Backpack. And people look at me like, oh, some stupid old man, which is obviously has some validity. But I can never remember what the things are.
Backpack is quite a good idea for a name.
That would be okay, wouldn't it? If Backpack.
But you
What's in
see,
your backpack?
These things start and then they go and one doesn't know. Path. Do
But
you remember Path?
I'm told Whamaggedon is quite global.
Pierre?
Well, yeah, I suppose if it's online, it must be global. Yeah.
Oh, well, if it's online.
Anywhere where Wham has been forced upon the population, or
you
is
see, they
extremely
say-
popular.
They say forced, but I actually think they've got that wrong because I think Last Christmas, controversially, is one of the few genuinely good Christmas songs.
Okay,
Discuss.
well, we'll come back to that in just a second.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, I've already eaten Santa's entire trunk.
Have you really?
Yeah.
We get chocolate Santas from the producer.
We do.
I don't know whether she pays for them or just takes them out of the budget and else I pay for them.
No, personally paid for.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
And it's lint. I don't mean the stuff one takes off one's velvet jacket with sellotape.
No, with
That means-
or a roller.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you should be so lucky to get 5 lint rollers for one
Yes,
birthday.
delicious chocolate rollers.
So, Whamaggedon. So people, can I say, we don't have any intention of playing it in case you're thinking this is a trap.
There is panic.
No, calm down, Jamie Mason 0897.
Yeah, but we are strapped across some various other channels, the decade channels as we call them on Absolute. I don't know what they're up to. What decade would it be?
80s.
Okay, so if you're on 80s,
beware.
Be careful. The others you'll be safe. I won't play it.
I think part of the problem is...
Although I think, wasn't it number one in like 2010?
Well, here's the thing. Wasn't it left off number one because of Band-Aid? And George Michael, being such a lovely chap, had agreed to forego the royalties. There was something anyway.
There was, yes.
But he, I think it was never number one.
I think it was number one eventually.
Yes, probably afterwards. But
as a sort of justice thing.
Yeah, justice had to be done.
Yeah, it was kept off the top by Do They Know It's Christmas?
Yes.
Yeah.
The B-side of which was called Who's They? The Cat's Mother.
By Cat Stevens.
Yeah. What I would say about that, though, is I understand that the original Last Christmas, and it's all right to say Last Christmas. We could even play a different version, apparently, and that doesn't break the thing.
Yeah.
I could play...
Covers and remixes are allowed.
You could play, for example, if it was David Baddiel singing Last Christmas, that would be fine.
I could play Joe McElderry's cover version. What about that? He did. Oh. Do you remember him? X Factor guy? You won't know him.
I remember him, Frank.
Any road up... The original single, all the money went to the Ethiopian famine fund. Right? Now, has that stopped? Or does the money still go to various Ethiopian charities? If it does still go to those charities, well done, the Whamaggedon people who are stopping people from playing it.
I think there's a bit of a...
Oh, no, I'm afraid they can't have any money. Who's they? The cats. We've been through that.
Actually...
We can't have any money because we're playing this game online. Oh, all right, then.
It's a big game where we ignore all of the collections for charity in the street.
Frank, you have reason, as they say in France when they're trying to translate English. You are right, because George Michael did leave a large proportion of his money his estate to charity.
Yeah.
So...
So these people are thinking, well, this is a fun, ironic game we play that actually probably takes lives, and we think it's okay. I mean, what's gone wrong with the world?
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, do you like Frankie Goes to Hollywood?
Yes.
I thought you would.
Something about his voice is that it's slightly troubled, and I like that.
Yes, you like that in a person.
Yes.
Now, here is a thing. So apparently they played Wham's Last Christmas. I'm still, by the way, we've been Googling this. I still think the people who stop people playing it are costing charities lots and lots of money. Well done, you.
It does seem
I haven't looked into it. And it does seem to be the case that charities will not be benefiting as a result of Whamaggedon. Congratulations,
What
everyone.
a lovely game it is.
Happy
They
Christmas.
moan about Squid Games and stuff.
There'll be a lot of coal and a lot of stockings this year.
Yes.
I haven't seen Squid Games, but it sounds pretty humane and compassionate compared to Whamaggedon. Anyway, they played it there was an Arsenal ladies game that had 60,000 people, and the DJ played it at half time and got a bit of stick on X. There was an ex-man. An ex-man.
No, I don't careful how you pronounce that, Frank.
No, actually, I've debated this before, but not on here, I think. Can you have a singular? If you're in the X-Men and you're somewhere on your own, are you an X-Man?
Hello, I'm an X-Man. No.
Hello, I'm...
I think if someone said to you, I'm an X-Man.
You'd have to say, I'm one of the X-Men.
What if
Again,
women
don't say
in it?
that.
But there's women.
Wolverine would have to introduce himself. Well,
He's
he's
not
famous.
going to introduce himself.
But there's
He doesn't
women in
need
the
to.
X-Men.
Yeah, that's true, actually, isn't there?
It's very complicated.
It
Let's
should be
not get into the X-Men.
the X them.
But
Hang
a man on
I
X.
don't understand it. Is it the man? Oh, okay.
It should be the X them. It covers all bases.
Yeah, the X them. That sounds quite good.
Yeah, the X them.
Anyway,
Yeah.
a man on X said, he said, of the person who played it at Arsenal ladies game,
Yeah, the
he
DJ.
said, not funny and inexcusable. I don't know if I agree with inexcusable.
I don't know if I agree with not funny. Quite funny.
What about,
is.
is inexcusable a tribute band for an XS? I'd like that.
Now, this bloke really didn't want the charities to get any money. He's furious
From the
about
George
it.
Michael estate.
Also, the trouble with this whole thing of getting angry at people playing it is that the whole point of the game is that it's supposed to be a passive game where you just do your best kind of to avoid it, but it's more about just can you happen to make it through. Whereas if you turn it into a thing that you give people stick for playing, then the
Yeah.
game just becomes easier
I'm
and
afraid
easier.
that's already happened.
Frank's
Well,
right.
this is the
Why
thing, it
pick
ruins the game.
man, one of the most charitable men in the history of music.
And someone has tied one hand behind his back, his giving hand.
But even
Awful.
Against
even
his
without
wishes. Yeah.
the compassion element, you're just making a game easier over time. And eventually no one will play it, and then the game will be won automatically.
I have to say, it does represent progress that there's 60,000 people at a women's football
Yeah.
game, and the stories about what the DJ played at half time.
Yes, true.
There was a time when that would have been seen as a momentous and unbelievable phenomenon.
Also, I saw Andrew Ridgeley just once coming out of a car park. Nothing funny. I was
Oh, yeah.
going in. He was coming out. Do you know, he gave me a wonderful smile. And it really stayed with me, that. I'll tell you what else stayed with me. The health, the glow of the man.
Well, speaking of his glow, he was a manager on fantasy football back in the old days, Andrew
was
Ridgeley.
it?
I remember that the episode he was on was reviewed, and they said Andrew Ridgeley looks as if he's been French polished. I remember that. But I didn't really know what that meant, but it sounded brutal.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
And Louise Grant has confirmed my aunt once made Andrew Ridgeley a fried egg sandwich. She concurs. Lovely chat.
Oh, nice. Oh.
There you go.
I went into someone's beach house once. Do you remember this? I told you about it. I was very thirsty.
Don't. This
and I
was
said,
so
can I get a
embarrassing.
drink of water? I ended up having a can of Coke and a bacon sandwich with these complete strangers.
Did you just walk in on the beach?
I did knock on the
You
door.
can't knock on the beach. Oh, it was an actual wooden beach hut.
Yeah, it was on the beach. Camber Sands, it was.
What did you do? Knock, knock. Hello.
Not knock. I said, hello, I'm can I get a drink of water? And they said, you're Frank Skinner. And I said, yeah, I wouldn't do it if I was a ordinary man in the street.
Oh my God.
Me and David Baddiel left Wembley Stadium once. We didn't know he was going to get home, so we just held our hands out and did some celebrity hitchhiking, and someone drove us home.
Can I ask you a
wow.
question? Do you ever get the fear when you do that?
That my ear might be in an envelope 2 days
No.
later on its way to my agent.
No, I'm thinking of something infinitely worse.
Okay.
That it might be one of the few people and you might not be on their radar.
No, but they won't stop then.
Okay.
Self-selecting.
But,
It was
and
the
you
thing
don't
I
feel
got-
the embarrassment of them saying, sorry, why would I give you a glass of water? That doesn't bother you.
Oh, those people. No,
Yeah.
no. There were other beach huts.
How much do you think management would want of the ransom money
Yeah, exactly.
as a cut?
Minimum of 15%.
I've negotiated this.
I don't think they'd get a halfpenny out of them. I think I'd be left to
And they'll be
perish.
producing the Netflix series about it.
Yes,
You've got to
yeah.
factor that in.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I like the idea of Andrew Ridgeley having a fried egg sandwich. That's a humble thing for a pop star to eat.
When he was on fantasy football, I made the terrible interviews error of saying, what do you do now?
Oh, no.
I know. What was I
It's so
thinking of?
bad.
And he said, I surf mainly.
Good
He was
answer.
a racing driver as well.
Was he?
Drove fast cars.
I admire pop stars who, once they've made their money, they have a sort of Mr. Ben lifestyle where they sort of try out.
I like the sort of Roger Daltrey trout farm approach. Get a tweed jacket and a cap and walk around in the countryside. Yeah, I think that's good. And this game, by the way, if you're playing it, it's from the 1st to the 21st of December. That's the rules.
So any
That covers most of the royalties, I would have thought.
if any
Also,
non-charity fans out there.
Yeah.
I think it ends on the 24th to stop the king playing it halfway through his speech as a prank.
Hey, got you. You've been whimmed.
It actually
yes.
said, I had a look at the website and it said, don't send it to your friends, like as a sound thing.
That doesn't count.
Oh, it says it does count, but they don't approve of it.
Oh, really?
It says we can't stop you deliberately sending your friends to Whamaggedon. But Valhalla is the Hall of Fallen Heroes.
That's right.
It's an honourable place to be.
Yeah.
Also, as I've
Taken there by
said,
Valkyries.
Frank, as I've said, it's actually one of the few good Christmas songs. What about Radiator? I'm down for that.
Rhamageddon.
I can't do driving home for Christmas.
No.
What's wrong with him? I cannot abide.
I thought you meant a game in where you smack people really hard across the rear
Well,
for
of
3
course, I
weeks.
also love that idea.
I don't think that's going to catch
Chris
on.
Rhamaggedon.
In many ways, that would, although people would be outraged by that, I think it was disgusting. I would say it's less disgusting than depriving charities from funds.
To the George Michael estate.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've heard from Iona Faz
Oh, yeah?
regarding Riz, the word of the year we discussed.
Oh, yes, which means that you're
Your charm.
attractive to other, is it? The charm of
Yes.
to other people who you want to go out with.
And your ability to,
Yeah, Riz up.
You
To-
got
to riz
great
people.
riz.
and to Riz people.
And it's sort of a shortening of charisma, but narrowed down to romance.
Well, further examples. Re-riz. When my mates use the phrase, I've often noticed it's with application, e.g. I might apply the riz, or he was applying the riz.
Oh, I see, like chatting someone up, like that.
Laying on the
Turning
charm.
on. Oh, okay. Putting on the riz.
Putting on the Riz.
Putting on the
Come on.
Remember that Frankenstein film?
Just the thought of that makes me laugh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What about because last week we were talking about Rasputin.
Rasputin,
Who
yeah.
really was attractive. He actually was attractive to women.
Yeah, Riz
As well as
crackers
being an eccentric religious.
figure.
Why did you mention that Frankenstein? It's one of my favourite clips. I mean, I know it's one of yours, but I can't move on now. I'm trying.
You can.
I need to take my mind off it by sharing something with you, which is, do you remember we were discussing dad remarks recently? And I
Not jokes, but things that dads
no.
just say over and over.
Yeah, it's more just things they have, you know, things that could only come from them. So, for example, David from Cork. Hi, Frank. My dad's favourite saying when he was after some help with various tasks, such as repairing the car, gardening, painting the house, etc., he would ask for help, and if he noticed any glimmer of reluctance from the teenage me, he would say, "One volunteer is worth 10 pressed men." And then turn away and wait for me to help him.
That's
and
good.
you know, I always did.
That's good.
That's a good phrase.
That's like up there with my dad's reason for not voting Labour.
oh, yes.
You put a beggar on horseback, he'll ride into hell. That was a party political broadcast. Yeah.
We're discussing school trips recently, slightly disappointing school trips. And we've had Tetra. What is that?
Tetris?
No, how do you pronounce it? Tetrachangel? I don't know. Pierre will be at home.
Maybe you should have.
Tetrarchangel?
Maybe you should have checked it out before.
What is this, Sunday brunch? Can you get me Tim Lovejoy's number? Thank you. Regarding disappointing school trips, I grew up in Old Hill in the Black Country.
Oh, yeah.
Aged 5 or 6, we were taken on a school trip to Old Hill High Street. The High Street of our own little place.
Oh.
Come on, make an effort, teachers.
That's a bit... I remember Boz went on a school trip, my son, to Pizza Hut. And that wasn't very far.
Prince Andrew?
Exactly. He wasn't there.
No.
No sweat.
And also... Ben in Christchurch, on the subject of school trips, because I really enjoyed this theme. Our worst school trip was to a nearby park where we were tasked with counting all of the dog business in a certain section in order to estimate how many there were in the entire park. It was sold to us as maths.
Well, it makes sense.
It's a kind of maths.
I quite like it.
All right, children, here you go. Maths.
So look, that's it. Sarah Champion's coming up. Do listen to her. That was our last link of 2023. Can you believe? And we gave it to the people.
Yeah.
Like when Jeremy Corbyn used to do Prime Minister's questions, and he'd read out emails that he got and stuff like that in a humble way. For the next 2 Saturdays, there'll be best of 2023 shows. They'll be good, won't they? Imagine the best of this. I mean, this, which is just even more Ribena and less water. We'll be back on 6th of January live, it says here. In other words, well, that's optimistic for a man of my age. God willing, I'll be there too. Thank you so much for listening to us this year, in fact.
And go and see Frank and Pierre at the Gilgood, because I'm going.
February.
Yes, February the 5th to the,
For 2 weeks.
Oh, tell you what's good about it. You can buy it now as a Christmas present for your partner,
That's what I
or
think.
you can buy it then as a Valentine's present for your partner.
Yeah.
Thanks. Oh, we've ended now on economics. Terrible. Nevertheless, listen, if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. That's probably what they said at the end of the last question of sport. Little did they know. Now get out.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.